There is a cylinder on your laptop charger cable that you have looked at for years without truly seeing it. It sits there, close to the plug, too thick to be just plastic and heavy enough to be noticed when you move the cable. It is present on almost every laptop charger manufactured in the world. Nobody asks what it is for. Nobody questions whether it needs to be there. Today you are going to discover that that cylinder is one of the most elegant engineering solutions present in your daily life, and at the end of this video, you will understand why your Wi-Fi drops at the exact moment you plug the charger into the outlet. If you enjoy discovering the stories and the reasons behind simple things, subscribe to the channel. Most people who notice the cylinder assume it has a structural function. It is positioned near the plug, which is precisely the part of the cable that suffers the most mechanical stress, the point where the wire bends, pulls, and eventually breaks. It seems logical that that additional volume of material exists to reinforce the cable at that exact point, preventing repeated bending from breaking the internal wires over time. That conclusion is reasonable. The reasoning makes sense and is correctly applied in other everyday contexts, where mechanical reinforcements are frequently added at the points of greatest stress in an object. The problem is that that explanation does not answer some simple questions. If the cylinder were only a mechanical reinforcement, why is it so heavy relative to the rest of the cable? Why do good quality cables with no visible reinforcement last equally well? And why do some cables have two cylinders positioned at each end of the cable? Mechanical reinforcement simply does not explain any of those three observations. That cylinder has a technical name, ferrite core. Ferrite is a ceramic material composed mainly of iron oxide combined with other specific metals, and its specific magnetic properties are what make the cylinder useful. To understand what it really does, it is necessary to first understand a fundamental problem that exists in every electrical cable that carries energy or signal. Any electrical current running through a wire generates an electromagnetic field around that wire. That is not a defect, not a manufacturing flaw, it is physics. Every wire carrying electricity becomes, at the same time, a small antenna transmitting electromagnetic interference into the surrounding environment. In a charger cable, that interference is constant while the device is connected. The ferrite core acts as a filter. It absorbs the interference frequencies the cable would produce and converts them into harmless heat, preventing those frequencies from spreading into the environment. It is exactly the same principle as a household water filter, but applied to the electromagnetic field instead of to liquid. To visualize what happens without the ferrite core, imagine that every time you plug an electrical device into your home, it begins to shout at a frequency you cannot hear, but that nearby devices can pick up. That invisible shout is electromagnetic interference. Your laptop charger is one of the household devices that produces the most of that type of noise because it converts alternating current into direct current at high speed, a process that generates rapid voltage variations that travel along the cable like waves. Without the ferrite core to filter those waves before they escape, they propagate through the cable and radiate into the environment. What happens in that environment is predictable. The Wi-Fi signal operates at frequencies that can be disrupted by that electromagnetic noise. Bluetooth as well. The signal of wireless mice and keyboards in the same way. You hear nothing, you see nothing. But the environment around the cable has become an active interference zone while the charger is connected. Here is the decision that manufacturers of cheaper cables make and that almost nobody notices. The ferrite core is a component with a real production cost. In a cable manufactured at industrial scale of tens of millions of units per year, the cost difference between including the core and not including it represents significant savings per unit. The result of that decision appears on store shelves as a generic charger cable sold for a fraction of the price of the original. Without the core, the cable works. Energy passes from one end to the other, the laptop charges, and nothing immediately perceptible happens. The problem is that, without the filter, the charger begins to operate as a continuous source of electromagnetic interference inside your workspace or bedroom. Over time, the continuous exposure of electronic components to electromagnetic noise can accelerate the degradation of sensitive internal circuits. It is not an immediate and dramatic risk. It is a silent and gradual degradation that nobody associates with the cheap cable purchased months before. The same ferrite core present in your laptop charger cable is found in equipment where electromagnetic interference is not an inconvenience but a risk to life. In an intensive care unit, cardiac monitors and mechanical ventilation equipment need to function with absolute precision in an environment full of electrical devices operating simultaneously. Electromagnetic interference between those devices can corrupt readings, generate false alarms, or compromise the precision of medication delivery by infusion pumps. Ferrite cores are present in every critical cable in those systems. In aviation, the avionics of a commercial aircraft, the navigation, communication, and flight control systems operate in an environment with hundreds of potential sources of electromagnetic interference. Aircraft certification standards require rigorous filtering in every cable that can generate or pick up electromagnetic noise. Ferrite is part of that solution. The cylinder you had never examined on your charger cable is the household version of a component present in the most critical systems human engineering has ever built. Now it is possible to understand what is happening when your Wi-Fi drops at the exact moment you plug the charger into the outlet. It is not a coincidence. It is not a router problem. It is the charger without a ferrite core flooding the environment with electromagnetic interference in the frequency band that Wi-Fi uses to operate. Identifying whether your cable has a ferrite core is simple. You look for the cylinder near the plug or near the laptop port. If it is there, the cable has active electromagnetic noise filtering. If it is not, the cable does not have that protection. Original cables from laptop manufacturers include the core by default. Generic cables frequently do not. If you replace the original cable with a cheaper model and began noticing Wi-Fi instability, dropped Bluetooth connections, or irregular behavior from wireless devices near the laptop, the most likely cause is the cable without filtering. The solution is equally simple. Replace the cable with a model that has a ferrite core. The next time you see that cylinder on your charger cable, you will know with precision what you are looking at. It is not just a plastic reinforcement. It is an active electromagnetic filter working in silence and protecting every device around your laptop while it charges. A technology component present in the most critical systems in the entire world, hidden in plain sight in the object you use every single day. If you enjoy discovering the reasons behind simple things, leave a like and subscribe to Simple Things and Their Secrets.